Everyone yearns for freedom, but it's not always easy to find. When you've been controlled by someone close to you for your whole life, it can be very hard to break away. Abuse can take many forms. Physical abuse is easy to identify, but emotional and psychological abuse can sometimes be harder to detect. When it is subtle, it can sometimes be even worse than when it is obvious. When it is identifiable, you can get a firmer grasp on what is happening, and it becomes clear what you need to do to stop it. When the abuse is insidious, it becomes normal. Nothing seems wrong because the problem becomes a part of your everyday life. When I was a child, my mother always pampered me. Both my sister and I had blonde curly hair, and everyone always commented on how cute we were. Our mother obsessed over our hair as though it was the most important thing in the world. Every morning we would be placed in front of the mirror, and she would spend ages trying to get our hairstyles just right. Most people would say that having a mother who fusses over you is a good thing because it shows that she cares. But all this attention wasn't really about us. It was all about her. We were like dolls that she was playing with, not children with minds of our own. I'm sure my mother saw nothing wrong with what she was doing. In her mind, she was just trying to improve us. As she busied herself with our appearances, she would make cruel comments about the way we looked, little realizing the effects they had on us. Of the two of us, my sister was always the prettiest, but for some reason, my mother always criticized her the most. My sister's tears did nothing to stop my mother's insults. She would continue as though nothing was wrong, seemingly oblivious to the fact that she was destroying her confidence. It wasn't until middle school that I began to realize that my mother's treatment of me and my sister wasn't healthy. All our lives, we thought it was normal for our mother to do what ours did, but after talking with other kids about it, we soon realized that it was totally wrong. This, of course, sent me into a rage. All my life, I've been controlled, and now I'd realized what had been happening. I wanted nothing more than to break out of the cage my mother had placed me in. I began to rebel, refusing to let my mother touch my hair. When I suggested cutting it short, she went ballistic. She screamed at me and my sister, then grounded us. Everything changed after that, and our relationship was never the same again. When my sister went to college, all the attention fell upon me. My mother always found new things to try and manipulate me. Living with her made me feel as though I was being molded into something that I didn't want to be. When I finally left for college, I still didn't manage to escape. My mother called me and texted me constantly, even though she knew she was disrupting my classes and lectures. There seemed to be no way out. I had been conditioned from an early age to obey orders from my mother, so I found it hard to break free and do the things I wanted. I'm now in my 5th year of college, and even though my mother still tries to control me, I found ways to deal with it. I have a really good group of friends who provide support, and I've changed to subjects that I want to study rather than the ones my mother ordered me to take. I'm also wearing the types of clothes I want to wear, which are totally different to the ones my mother used to buy for me. In the past, whenever I chose clothes that I was comfortable with, my mother would say things like, "They're not suitable for your large body type," or "Don't bring attention to your size by wearing that." Now, I wear what I want and I'm more comfortable with who I am. The most symbolic change I've made recently was when I cut my own hair. It was always the one thing my mother obsessed about the most, and by cutting it myself, it felt like I was cutting marionette strings and setting myself free. My mother had always told me that girls shouldn't have short hair, that it wasn't proper, but the style she demanded of me just wasn't the right fit. It was my birthday when I made the change, or as I like to call it, my rebirthday. I was hesitant at first, but when I began to cut, the shorter I went, the more emancipated I felt. The next day, I went to a hairdresser to neaten it up, and she totally agreed that my new style suited me a lot better. My mother screamed at me when she saw what I'd done. She even called me some really nasty homophobic slurs. My father was more positive. He said that I looked cute, and it drew more attention to my blue eyes. My friends all agreed that it was more me, and I even got some positive comments from some of my lecturers. Despite my mother's inappropriate response, I felt a lot happier knowing that I was finally doing something for myself rather than for her. Since I've started living my own life and not obeying my mother's every wish, I feel a lot happier and a lot more confident. It's a natural instinct to want to make your parents happy. But over the years, I've realized that it doesn't mean you should go against your own beliefs and feelings. It's important to be who you are, no matter what other people think. Even your parents. If you try to please others without pleasing yourself, you will become miserable. The only way to be happy is to be true to yourself and live your life in a way that feels right for you.